I don't mean to offend. So it's
Yeah,
not
please,
that.
please.
No, I don't. I don't want to. But the problem with capitalism is, and maybe you'll like this, the problem with capitalism is not that it is the one thing that's consistent with human nature. That's what its defenders would like to have us believe. But if anything, I would argue the opposite, that it is such a contradiction to parts of our nature, not other parts, that it can never quite make it. There's always going to be the people who don't go along with it, people you're talking about, who do quit along the way. Or maybe a few of them actually make it to the top by God knows what hook or what crook that they did it. But most of them go, and you know why? Because their humanity is contradicted by what it is they're being asked to do. I mean, the corporate sector this year, just to give you an idea, CEOs are jacking up their wage package. They're already out of whack. I mean, the average CEO pay is now 300 times what the average worker pay is. But they're jacking it up even more. Why? Because that's what's happening in their universe. That's what they're all doing it, and they have to do. Each one of them justifies it. I have to do that, otherwise I'd lose my guy to the next one, which of course is true, but is no comfort for the mass of people who aren't CEOs, for whom this argument isn't very exciting. So they're doing that at a time when the American people can't cope. They've just gone through the COVID disaster. They've gone through the second worst economic crash of capitalism in our history. After 2 years of this 1-2 punch, they got an inflation, a third punch, and we are now predicting rising interest rates and a recession at the end of the year or early next year. You can't do this to a working class. When this was done to the German working class in the 1920s, Hitler was the result. You keep doing that in this country, we're already watching it. You're going to get that too. You're already getting bits and pieces. You can't keep doing it.
There's a quiet suffering amidst the working
Horror.
Class that's growing.
Taking out on
that can turn to anger.
Some little 18-year-old kid who has to go 3 hours in his car and blow away people in a supermarket. Huh? What? And it happens every day in this country. Every day.
So that anger rises up in those little ways now, and bigger potentially.